this is Ellis here. Welcome back to my channel. If you like the books that I've been talking about so far, please like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Comment below about the books you've read. Maybe you like them, maybe you don't. Hey, just comment. Okay, getting right into it. I dropped some recommendations last week and I kind of wanted to go over some of the ones that I really enjoyed. One of them is The Sweetest Remedy. So I did talk about that in my last video for the Valentine's Day weekend reads. And so The Sweetest Remedy is a book by Igharo. She is a Nigerian novelist, and this story revolves around a girl named Hannah who has a white mom and a Nigerian dad, but her dad has not been in her life pretty much at all. He had another family in Nigeria and basically he left. So Hannah's never had a relationship with her father and she kind of feels not whole and always wondering, what happened to make him leave? Was she good enough? Why didn't he stay? Why didn't he want her? Etc. So one day she gets news that her father has passed and she is summoned to Nigeria to attend his funeral. And so of course there are a lot of mixed feelings, there are a lot of questions between her and the family that he decided to stay with in Nigeria, which are her siblings. So she comes to find out that she's got a whole bunch of sisters and a brother, extended family. And so she's here, so she goes to Nigeria, she is overwhelmed, excited, confused, and there are, of course, a lot of tensions going on, but then there's a lot of sweetness that goes on in the book. While she is there, she also meets a very close friend of the family who turns out to be a love interest for her. So they continue to get closer and closer to each other. However, there are different obstacles that pop up to kind of challenge their relationship and challenge the relationship between her and her siblings and the relationship that she might have had between her and her father. There's lots of discoveries made, and in the end she does grow and she does come to the realization that no one that she is related to, her father, her mother, can determine her worth, but she is the one who can determine her worth, no one outside of her. And it's such a beautiful story of how it comes together, how she grows emotionally during the book is also a beautiful story. I like the fact that there are a lot of elements revolving around the family, showing how beautiful the family ties are, even when they are faced with the fact that both of their dads cheated on their moms. They are still able to come together and have beautiful relationships. I absolutely love that. Her Name is Night is another book that I've actually been dying to give a review on. I read it in January. That book was so riveting. Oh my goodness. Like, it is compelling. It is heartbreaking. It is gut-wrenching. It is just, there's so many emotions that are involved in this book. The character is written in a then and now type of style. So for instance, the book starts off with who she is today, and she is an assassin at this point in time as a grown woman. She is on a job. She has different assignments that she must fulfill. She's pretty much content with her job. She likes what she does as an assassin until she gets an assignment where something inside her basically questions whether or not she should go through with the assignment. So of course, when she gets to the place, she finds out that the person she's supposed to kill, he's actually a good guy, but that's her assignment. So there's a little bit of a challenge there. In the next chapter, it kind of goes back to how she was as a young girl, was happy. She was a person who had lots of family surrounding her. Her auntie, her father was a chief of one of the tribes in Ghana, and she lived basically as a princess until one night a betrayal occurs and her family is literally destroyed. And so the book kind of goes from that period of time to how she became an assassin. There are a lot of very nauseating scenes. The book does contain a lot of triggers, so there is human trafficking in that book. There is assault. There's a lot in that book, but the book is very compelling in that it shows everything that she went through, everything that she escaped, and how she became who she is today, and then who she is today, if she can ever reconcile her experiences in the past. What I liked most about this book is how it was written. And so when the author writes about who the lady is, you know, in the present day, it's written in past tense, third person. So it kind of gives you a little feeling like someone is telling the story. She's a little bit detached from who she was. Whereas when she's a young kid, the story is written in present tense, first person. So it's kind of like she's telling her story. She's telling how she basically lost herself and became this other character that she ends up as in the present day. This book, oh my god, it was recommended on Bookstagram. I can't remember who exactly recommended it, but it was so awesome and you should definitely read it. Trigger warnings are there, so you know what you can handle, but honestly that book I feel like was the most compelling book that I read this year so far. Another recommendation that I have for you today is kind of like a young adult or maybe a mid-grade type of book. There's no cussing in it, there's no steamy scenes, but it's very exciting. It's kind of in this thriller type of genre. Basically it's about this girl who has gotten into a horrible accident and her parents have put a mechanical arm on her that makes her sleepwalk. Now her parents are major tech gurus. They own basically the whole town, and the whole town is very artificial. Everything is automated. They live in smart houses, drive smart cars. It's kind of a bit futuristic in a sense, and it's got like an iRobot feel kind of, but it was really good, and it talks about how the arm makes her sleepwalk, so she keeps waking up in these random places. Now the thing is, after she is experiencing this sleepwalking, different people in her life start to die, and so she's wondering, oh my god, am I doing this because I'm blanking out? I don't know what's happening when I just wake up in random places. I don't know if I really killed these people. What if I did? What if I didn't? So this book kind of follows her as she's trying to figure out the murders of these people, and she really feels like it's her. And so that's a very interesting theme. It was definitely a good read. So even as an adult, I found it very entertaining, and I would definitely share it with my children. So there's a second book in the series after she figures out, you know, that mystery. The second book is dealing with the new robots that are being placed in people's homes, basically like servants. The robots go around and they do the things that maybe a housemaid would do, but now most people can afford them. So she's still very wary of the robots because honestly she just feels like there's nothing like people. So when random glitches start to happen, she starts to kind of suspect that maybe it's the robots, or she just feels like it's the robots because she kind of doesn't like the robots anyway, even though her parents, you know, have created these robots, even though that's their livelihood, she is not okay with them. So this book kind of explores the random glitches that keep occurring in the robots, and if they are tied together or if they are not, and who is behind them. So the second book is really good and interesting as well. I still found it awesome as an adult, so you know, you can check these out. It's by Alicia Ellis, and the third book is coming out at the end of the month, and I am super excited to read this book, so that is definitely on my TBR. So look for that at the end of February. Can't wait to do a review on that. Another sci-fi mid-grade book or series is the Joshua and Gone series. It is written by Anthony Hewitt, and this book is definitely sci-fi, and it deals with aliens and, you know, all that stuff. And so it's basically about a Nigerian prince who goes to school, and he's like a regular guy, but then he, I guess, somehow figures out that he is part alien species, part of the alien species, but he's kind of human as well. So this series kind of goes through all the challenges that he has. Honestly, it was a little confusing for me because I read the second book and I hadn't read the first book, and I didn't really understand that there was a first book until I was like, man, they keep referring to a whole bunch of stuff. So the book that I actually started with was Joshua Nung and the Battle of St. Augustine, which he's basically back at school. He's very familiar with his powers. He knows he's, you know, a prince of a long lost species that has settled on Earth, and he has to be in hiding away from his true parents. And that book was good, okay? But one thing that did drive me crazy about the book was how the author kept skipping around to different characters in the book, and honestly that drove me insane because it was like I would read a paragraph, and then as I'm getting into the paragraph, then it would just switch, and it would be like a whole nother person, a whole nother place, a whole nother situation, then it would switch again to a whole nother place, and it was like, oh my god, like it literally drove me insane. But I was like, no, I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna finish that. So if you can get through all the switching, I think that it's a good story because the premise is actually very well thought out. I just feel like the execution and the transitions were like really I don't know if it was choppy per se, but just real, like it just kept switching up too much, and I didn't like that. It was a cool story. So if you like that type of thing, or if you have a nephew or niece or son, daughter, you know, anyone who you're trying to get into books, maybe they'll like it if they can get through all this switching and all that. But definitely out of those, my favorite series was The Girl of Flesh and Metal. That was well written. It was well done, put together. It had not only a good plot, but it was also executed very well. The transitions were smooth and all of that. So those are my recommendations for this weekend. Those are some books that you can kind of pass along to your kids, and you can celebrate Black History Month with those because the protagonists are Black. So enjoy. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Happy reading.